Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Quantum Carnival on Mysticalista TV. I'm Calista, and this podcast is where I document my experiments in reality creation. A question I've been asked a few times recently is, Calista, what exactly is quantum metaphysics? And I'm glad you asked. Allow me to explain. I did not make up either of these words, quantum metaphysics, but as far as I know, I am the only person who I have heard put them together in this little phrase. Let's break it down. I think the best way to break it down is from the bottom up. So let's start with physics. Wikipedia says physics is the scientific study of matter, its fundamental constituents, its motion and behavior through space and time, and the related entities of energy and force. So, physics covers the material realm, matter, the physical universe. Physics is the study of all of that. Metaphysics comes from philosophy. In philosophy, meta signifies a self-reflective level of inquiry about a subject, moving from the subject itself to the study of the subject. So meta literally comes from the Greek word for after or beyond. Metaphysics, therefore, literally means after the physics. It's the study of fundamental reality, being, existence, and first causes, exploring what exists and its nature. So basically, if physics contains things like the law of gravity, the speed of light, and the periodic table, what atoms there are, and electrons and protons, everything like that, then metaphysics is basically the study of what establishes those laws and those conventions of the physical and material universe. So where physics is a scientific study, metaphysics is a branch of philosophy. Metaphysical beliefs are often the foundation of and justification for the physical laws of a universe. For example, belief in God and all creative force is a metaphysical belief. If you believe that, then most likely in your belief system, God and the nature of God would supersede the laws of the physical material universe in your reality. The law of gravity, for example, would be a part of God's creation. That would be the reason for its existence. And if God were to alter that for any reason, the law of gravity would no longer apply and it would no longer be the case. In that way, the laws of physics are kind of at the mercy of the metaphysical picture made up by reality, whatever the case may be, depending on your beliefs. Quantum metaphysics sounds like the phrase quantum physics. If you are familiar with the double-slit experiment or the observer effect from quantum physics, basically, in the double slit experiment, it was found that light could be observed as both a particle and a wave at the same time, depending on the observer, the expectations of the observer. That's the observer effect. What this did is it disproved local realism. Local realism is the view that your physical reality is real, like spatially. So, for example, I'm sitting here at my desk. Local realism would be the idea that this desk is spatially located in the universe, and if I were to stand up and walk away out into the street and to the grocery store, back here down the street, this room would still be here, the desk would still be here. That's local realism, is that like all the physical stuff is kind of real and it's all local to where it is. So it's all kind of in its place, just sitting there, a physical world. And you know what? This is really the picture that's painted for us. At least for me, that's kind of how it was perceived by the vast majority, is like we're all living in this world and I live in my house, you live in your house, and then we go to school and then we're both at the school. And when we're not at the school, and I'm at my house and you're at your house, then the school is still there over in that part of town. However, that's actually not the case. The double-slit experiment disproving local realism really flips that on its head, where instead of there being a physical world that exists all the time that we're moving through, we are like the center of our reality, and we actually generate this experience of the physical world frame by frame, much like a video game, where if you're playing a video game and you're in a certain room on the map and you see up in the corner the whole map with the whole world of the video game, and you move your character outside to another part of the map, and that shows up on the screen, and you can see up in the mini map that your character has moved to another part in the world. So it's painting a very similar picture to the one that was painted for us of our physical world all our lives. Like, there is this big world with mountains and buildings, and as a character you can move through it, and the mountains are over there and the buildings are over there, and you can go over to the mountains and then you can walk back to the buildings, and it's all going to be in the same place. But you know, as a player, that when you are in the building part of the map, there's no mountains anywhere. There's no mountains over on some hidden part of the screen that your character walks over to. What happens is, when the game system gets the code from your controller buttons that you want to go to that part of the map, it generates a new image on the screen. And if you were to change that code in the middle of the game to delete one of your buildings, the building would disappear. The building is not real. The building just gets generated on the screen based on this concept we have of this map. Actually, that mental concept and that expectation is what is generating the image and what is generating the physical location. It's kind of like that old phrase, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? If a tree falls in the forest and there is no one there to hear it, there was no tree in the first place, because the expectation by an observer of there being a tree is what generates the physical reality of a tree. When there's no observer, there is no tree to fall, there is no sound to be heard. Clock that. There's also something called quantum entanglement. Once two particles have touched, when a change occurs to one, a change can be measured to have occurred to the other at the exact same instant, totally unaffected by distance. We think of light in terms of like physical laws of the material reality as moving very, very fast, and the speed of light is almost used as like a hyperbolic description of speed. But it takes light millions of years to go from certain observed portions of the universe to others, whereas this quantum entanglement relational behavior happens instantly. So these physical laws, physical attributes to our universe, such as the time it takes to travel distances, time being inversely proportional to distance and velocity or whatever it may be, or things like objects existing physically in certain places, or even things like the rules of logic, where you can't have both A and not A, like a certain particle you can't observe in a state of being both a particle and not a particle. Those physical laws are actually all subject to our expectation and our perception as a conscious observer. And the way that works is the quantum field. So the time-space continuum, which is a physical structure, exists within the fabric of a unified field. Go back and check out the first episode of this podcast, Welcome to the Quantum Carnival, and I discussed the holofractographic unified field theory. The quantum field, the unified field, the void, pure potentiality, is this field in which, as pure awareness, through our conscious observation, we generate the experience of physical reality and material reality. We access that space internally through our heart, through our imagination. That gives us a lot more power over our experience of reality than we may have been taught to believe that we have when we were ascribing to this system of laws of physical reality having power over us, when it's actually the other way around. And we are actually generating these conditions of our physical experience through our awareness. That's why, as a quantum consultant, as a mindset coach, a manifestation coach, a metaphysical consultant, I approach mindset and manifestation from the perspective of quantum physics. And that's why I describe my work as based in quantum metaphysics. It is based on this holographic unified field theory, the ideas of mindset work and neuroplasticity, self concept, and this idea that we can access pure divine source, God consciousness, through the quantum field in our heart, and we can embody our highest divine expression by aligning with it in that quantum space and intentionally designing using practices and tools to cultivate and redesign a mindset and a perspective and beliefs and expectations that will generate whatever reality we prefer, regardless of things like time and space and physical limitations or blockages or restrictions. All of those are just pixels on the screen of your perception, babe. So that is quantum metaphysics in a nutshell. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video or any questions that you have in the comments. If you would like to work with me, scheduling a quantum consult about any topic or a manifestation momentum call, if you would like a little boost and some custom support, some digital assets, a mental reframe, and success metric accountability check-in for a certain desired outcome, the links will be available in my profile. I cannot wait to talk to you soon. So until next time on the Quantum Carnival on Mysticalista TV, stay blessed.